It's time for some insight to Israel. I'm your host, Natasha Kirchuk, and coming up, the former commander of the Israeli Air Force will share a mind-blowing Holocaust story with us that you'll never be able to forget. We'll have dinner at a complete stranger's house as part of a social dining initiative that's changing how tourists experience Israel. And what's the biggest lie you've ever told or been told? We'll hit the streets of Tel Aviv to hear what locals have to spill. Israel has just commemorated Holocaust Remembrance Day, 24 hours of mourning the 6 million Jewish lives lost. 2 years ago, I had the honor of sitting down with the former commander of the Israeli Air Force, Eliezer Shkedi. But until today, I've never been able to forget the story that he told me about his father, a Holocaust survivor who took history into his own hands. Just watch.
Every time I'm in the air, I'm looking for Jerusalem. Looking to find Jerusalem. The city is the symbol. It's the symbol. It's the symbol of the state of Israel. It's the symbol of the Jewish nation. It's the symbol probably for you and for me.
This is Aluf Eliezer Shkedi, the former commander of the Israeli Air Force.
My father, Moshe Shkedi, passed away 2 years ago. He was born in Hungary. In 1944, he jumped from a train. All his family was murdered in Auschwitz. It took him 2 years after the war to understand that he is alone in the world. And he came to Israel.
Little did Moshe know his very own son Eliezer would soon become one of the most powerful and beloved military leaders in the state of Israel. Shkedi served as the front commander against countries that do not border Israel, leading the Israeli-Iran Command, which was set up to coordinate Israeli military operations and intelligence gathering against Iran. He even led the Israeli Air Force through the Second Lebanon War. But when you ask him what story defines him the most, this is the story that he tells.
When I was the commander of the Israeli Air Force, I got a lot of invitation to each and every event in Israel. Honestly, I do not like events. So I talked to my secretary, and usually she said, "Thank you very much, Shkedi has a lot of work to do, and he will not participate." One day she came to me, and she told me, "Do you know you have an invitation from the President Peres to eat dinner with him and with the President of Hungary?" I told her, "Avital, my secretary, thank President Peres, but I will not participate." Okay. Couple of weeks later, when we talked about the next week, she told me, "You know, next week you have a dinner with President Peres and with the President of Hungary." I told her, "How come? Didn't I tell you to cancel it?" She told me, "I thought you were doing a mistake. I didn't cancel." To me. Now I had two alternatives. The first one is to kill her. The second one is to think maybe she's right and I'm wrong. And I realized that probably she's right. So I told her, "You know, call the President's office and tell them that I will come, and I would like to bring my father with me." She called and she said, "Of course, President Peres would like to invite your father as well." So I called my father and told him, "You know, Father, President Peres would like to invite you to eat dinner with him and with the President of Hungary, and I will come with you." Silent on the other side of the phone. After a couple of seconds, he said, "I will come." Okay. The day arrived, I took him and we drove to Jerusalem. Silent in the car. I am with my thoughts, he is with his thoughts. Before we entered Jerusalem, he asked me, do you understand what's going on? I told him, of course, we are going to eat dinner with President Peres, with the President of Hungary, and later on I will bring you back. And he told me, you understand nothing. Since I'm talking to the Jewish people all around the world, probably all the people will understand. It was like Haggadah Shel Pesach and Chad Gadya. What it means, he said, I, Moshe Shkedi, is going to Jerusalem, the capital of the state of Israel and the capital of the Jewish nation. From the beginning. I, Moshe Shkedi, is going to Jerusalem. I am going to meet President Peres, who is the president of the state of Israel and of the Jewish nation. From the beginning. I, Moshe Shkedi, President Peres. I am going to this meeting with my son, who is the commander of the Israeli Air Force and the commander of the Jewish Nation Air Force. This is the title that he gave to me. And then he said, from the beginning, Moshe Shkedi, President Peres, my son, I am going to meet the president of Hungary, that 65 years ago, the value of my life was less than the value of a dead dog. From the beginning, Moshe Shkedi, President Peres, my son, the value of my life. And the president of Hungary does not know yet that he is going to apologize. And then he reached the end and he said, do you know, if someone would have asked me 65 years ago to dream the most amazing dream, the most unbelievable dream that you can imagine, no way that I would have dreamed something even close to this situation. And he's right. This is the meaning of proportion. This is the meaning of optimism. And I honestly very optimistic about the state of Israel and the Jewish nation. And this is the story of inventing Israel day after day after day. And the president of Hungary apologized.
Eva Heyman is a spirited 13-year-old Jewish girl, and if you check out her Instagram profile, you can see just how charming she is. She dances with her girlfriends, she gushes about her latest crush, and she spends quality time with her family. But here's the thing, the girl that you'll see on her Instagram page really isn't her. It's an actress. The real Eva Heyman was brutally murdered in the Auschwitz concentration camp during the Holocaust. And joining me now in the studio to explain this controversial idea further is Elad Samocha.
Thanks, Natasha. You're so right. In the Instagram page that we've all been following avidly online called Eva's Stories, it was actually created to commemorate Holocaust Day here in Israel. It's the brainchild of the Israeli Mati Kochavi and his daughter Maya, and it's based on the diary accounts of the Holocaust victim Eva Heyman. Take a look at this quick clip.
Hi, my name's Eva. Welcome to my page. Follow me. This is my page for random thoughts, crushes, my hashtag BFFs. One day, I'll be a famous reporter. But for now, I live with my grandparents.
Now you make a wish?
Dirty Jew. Hitler conquered us. Like that. You have to go home right now. Immediately. Jews can no longer own businesses.
Now, they wanted to use Instagram to show us a profile of a young Jewish girl living during the Holocaust and what that would have looked like. And honestly, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, so Eva's story unfolds through the snippets of Instagram. It's essentially the evolution and dissolution of her life after the Nazis invaded her hometown in 1944. It's chilling. They actually took a year to film the snippets. It's almost a production of a full movie, if you think about it.
Right, and they're 70.
And it's been very effective helping the world remember what happened during the Holocaust. I mean, for us in Israel, talking about the Holocaust is like second nature. Everybody here knows what happened because so many Israelis were affected by it, but that's not the case everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example of how much the world has forgotten about the Holocaust can be seen in a recent survey that was just released by the Claims Conference. We covered this last week. According to the survey, the majority of Austrians have no idea how many people were actually killed in the Holocaust, and they believe that the genocide itself was actually in a much, much smaller scale.
Well, Ava's Stories was certainly a way to reach out to younger generations who are obviously very big on social media, but are increasingly ignorant about the Holocaust. Eva's account really put the Holocaust into a language that young people can understand.
But it did cause some controversy as well, right?
Yeah. Actually, I was surprised to see how many people were upset with the whole idea. Many called it a display of bad taste when it comes to talking about the Holocaust. Others felt that putting such an important story on social media alongside with junk was offensive.
Right. Well, you know, it's interesting because I actually felt like Ava's Story was exactly why social media should exist, or at least exactly what I think social media should be used for. These apps cross international borders, and if you can actually use them to tell important stories, you have the ability to change and inform so many minds. So I personally am a huge fan of the project. I think it was very well done, and I shared it, so that's what I have to say to all the haters out there.
I agree. I think that at the beginning it was very weird to put the Holocaust on Instagram, and most of the survivor stories that we see online today, they're being told from elderly survivors that are in their late 80s and 90s, and it can be hard, unfortunately, for young kids who are on social media to pay attention, you know, when the stories are being told slowly and not always so clearly.
Right.
That's why I think this profile was so compelling to young people. It was easier to understand.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it raises an interesting question. What do we think would actually happen if there was Instagram and social media during the Holocaust? Would things have turned out differently? Would the world have interfered? The fact is, we are seeing so many other world conflicts happening today that nobody is doing anything about, like the Syrian civil war.
I think that's a big question that we'll need a whole different show for that. But I think we can leave our viewers to think about it.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us, Elan.
My pleasure.
All right, moving on to a more uplifting topic. For me, the best part of traveling is getting to meet new people. Now get this, one Israeli social initiative is making sure that tourists really have the chance to get to know locals when they visit Israel. Check this out.
Have you ever eaten with strangers before? That's what I'm about to do.
Hey,
Hi, Nir.
how are you?
I'm aggressively hungry.
Perfect.
We've never met each other before, but this is something that they actually do on a regular basis.
This is Neve. He's one of the founders of Bet Safta, a unique social dining service that allows Israelis to host tourists in their homes for dinner. Tonight, he's doing the hosting.
It's only a hobby. It's only something that we're doing on our spare time. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
We're also hugging here in Israel. How are you? Hi. Nice to meet you. My friend Ori and I thought about creating this platform which connects between travelers and Israelis when they're coming to Israel. There's like nothing more exciting than meeting new friends while traveling. I hope you're excited and hungry.
We're very hungry.
Perfect.
Anyone can sign up to host or be hosted on the Bet Safta website.
If I want to host people, do I also have to be a gourmet cook? Is this about the food?
That's a perfect question, and the answer is no. It's about the people, about the connection. The moment you're putting some beer, some wine on the table, the moment you're a bit like breaking the ice.
People can't remember what the food tastes like anyhow.
Yeah.
I am hungry.
Today, we're sitting down with a couple visiting from Switzerland.
It's interesting, they asked if it was normal for there to be so many dishes in an Israeli meal, and yeah, it is normal. I never actually thought about that.
The first Bet Safta rule is that we're not allowed to sit next to somebody we personally came to the dinner with. That way, we actually get to form new connections.
Second rule, there are no European manners here. So stuff your hand, go crazy, feel free to eat whatever, however. Cheers, l'chaim.
The ice can be hard to break in the beginning, but then you really get to know each other and ask all the questions you don't necessarily get the chance to ask otherwise.
This is a thing to marry rather young, isn't it?
From everywhere you got pressure. It's a thing. Yeah. From your family, from your co-workers, from everybody. It's just
from strangers on the street.
Yeah.
Today.
From our neighbor.
Really?
She's like, you should get married.
Where's your pram?
It's a really good feeling for me to share my experience as Israeli with someone else, to answer every question he has.
Actually coming here and having an experience like this and meeting normal people, does it change your mind in any way in terms of kind of any preconceptions that you might have had about the country?
I think this kind of experiences show the normalcy of Israel life, and that's what you don't get when you just read newspapers and newspaper headlines.
And it shows how bad our Israeli manners can be sometimes.
The second it hit his plate, he was like, when I saw him waiting, I went like this, and I was like, oh wait, we don't do that.
Well, he said no European rules, but
No European rules.
you always aim to find the real experience or meet real people, not just asking for the right bus stop, but a bit more. We didn't know you eat so elaborately every night.
Yeah, we like to eat well here.
Until today, many of the people who have taken part in a Betsafta dinner have stayed in contact.
When I'm choosing where to travel, I'm not thinking about the Eiffel Tower or the Red Square in Moscow. I'm thinking about people. I'm thinking about faces, about characters. For me, it feels like the world become closer.
All right, it's time for our segment Israelis Say. What's the biggest lie that you've ever told? Well, we wanted to hear the dirty details from some locals, so correspondent Cornelius and I hit the streets of Tel Aviv.
You want to film something? Just finish that. Oh, thank you. It's time for the question of the week. Yeah. Red light, though. Yeah, red light. What is the biggest lie you've ever told?
That shirt is cute.
Oh, thank you, honey. It's from America.
No, you didn't get it.
You said that she was pretty. It's funny because you're not.
The biggest lie.
I don't know.
Santa.
I don't know. That Santa is alive and there's a fairy godmother.
Oh.
What is the biggest lie that you've ever told?
Oh.
I don't know. Faking it, is it a lie?
Faking it at what, girl?
Oh.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Oh.
I'm a big fat liar, I know that. But,
Especially fat.
yeah.
Let's do that.
We're educated to tell the truth, always the truth.
So you never told one lie?
No.
I think that was a lie. Like, okay. Which one?
Well, I never lied, honestly, in my whole life.
You're precious.
The camera zooms in. Jesus.
Getting close.
Have you ever really messed something up big time, but nobody ever found out about it?
I kicked a kid once by accident and she cried. She was a champ. She handled it very well.
How old was she?
2 or something.
What?
She was so young. I know. It wasn't.
And you think she took it well?
That's the end of that story. Never told anyone that.
That's like kicking a shrimp.
I had a boyfriend and I didn't tell them.
Oh my God.
Show you?
Yeah, I want to judge. Oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
He's a soldier.
Yes, he's a soldier.
Oh, Fitz is so cute.
נראה לי שפעם אחת שתיתי בירה ולקחתי את הכוס, כאילו איתי. Like I took the cup.
You took the cup with you. Are you a virgin or something? What is this?
All right, it's time for our segment, What's Trending with Nittany Manson. Now, Nittany, tell us what is going viral in Israel this week. We all know what's going viral.
I think we all know. Unless you've been living under a rock, everybody knows that the final season of Game of Thrones and the final Avengers Infinity Saga film have arrived.
They're finally out,
They're here.
and my social media feed is going crazy. People are
Ridiculous.
very sensitive about this. They are very scared of spoilers.
Because, what's worse than a spoiler?
There's
Natasha,
nothing worse than a spoiler.
There's nothing worse.
And it's funny because Israelis are, specifically sensitive about this. So I know you have a funny video to show us, don't you?
I do. So this guy in Tel Aviv played a trick on his friends. He just called them up right after the episode aired, knowing that they had not seen the episode yet, and just kind of lied about what happened. And let's take a look.
Let's just
take a look.
מה קורה, אחי? נו, ראית את הפרק? אתה מוכן להגיד לי איך היא אמורה לנצח עכשיו עם דרקון אחד?
אמרתי לך לא להתקשר עליי, נכון? עד שכל העונה נגמרת.
למה ככה חזק?
אני עוד לא ראיתי.
לא ראית? אחי, ראית את הפרק? אתה מוכן להגיד לי איך היא אמורה לנצח עם דרקון אחד עכשיו?
שמע, אתה בן צונה.
מה קורה? ראית את הפרק? ידעתי שהוא יהרוג את אריה, אמרתי לך.
אתה ספר קצת דפוק. איך תסתיים, יא מניאק. איזה חרא של בן אדם אתה, אני רוצה לדבר איתי, חתיכת מניאק.
Okay, so this guy's actually a very well-known comedian here in Israel, for those who didn't know. And he just made up fake facts here. That's what he did.
Yeah, he just wanted to mess with his friends. And
I don't know if they're his friends anymore.
I hope they're still his friends, but I don't think I would be anymore.
All right, well, he's also not the only person that has been kind of making a scene when it comes to the latest Game of Thrones and Avengers series, right?
Right.
There is another video that you have to show us that goes beyond this guy just being kind of mean.
do. So, Game of Thrones, now we move to Avengers. There has been such a big outburst of fans and excitement,
people are going crazy about this,
for these films. Yeah, we've been watching them for almost 10 years.
It's a decade. That's a relationship.
This is more than most relationships.
That's longer than most relationships. That is a good point, Mindy.
So there are these two guys who went to the premiere of the movie, and they had a little treat, a little surprise for their fellow moviegoers. Let's take a look.
Nittany, have you checked if these guys are single?
You know me. I have sent
Obviously
a
you
message.
have.
They have not answered me yet, so I'm
Super
still waiting on
disrespectful,
this.
especially for guys who are clearly so nice. I mean, they literally put on a performance for all of these viewers. People were freaking out in Tel Aviv over this video.
Oh, this has been everywhere, all over Facebook, Instagram, everything. People just love these guys. Look at them. I mean, go to a movie and you get a free show.
I love how our first video, the world hated the comedian Danny, who just lied to his friends about spoilers. And now we have two people that we can love.
Well, if he was playing music, it'd be fine.
Obviously, it would have been totally fine. Well, this is great. I'm very happy that you've shared this with the world. Everybody needs to see it. And everybody needs to know how passionate Israel also is about these two series. Nittany, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right, my friends, that's it for today's episode of Insight to Israel. I'm Natasha Kirchuk, and keep on smiling.